what's up, and welcome to another episode of Music in Paranoid Times. I'm very excited to be here today because we have a good friend of mine and a good friend of Stuck on Planet Earth.
Go back.
The only, Mr. Densil McFarlane of OBGMs. How you doing, man?
Very happy to be here, man. We go back. Like, I don't remember the show. I feel like it was more than one, but it was like Adelaide Hall. Was that it?
Yeah, that was a minute ago.
Was that the one? I feel like
there was a few.
There was a few, but like
I remember we did like a Edge Jingle Bell show at the Mod Club. That was pretty.
That might have been it. That might have been it, man. Because I just remember the first time I watched you guys, and I was like, these guys got soul. these guys sick.
Man.
Good.
Vice versa, man. We saw you guys and I was like completely like just blown away at how much energy you guys brought to the stage. And not only that, you guys had like, so we brought our fans, you brought your fans, and all of them were just dancing together, and that was so exciting to see. But your fans were like fucking going nuts, man, like jumping up and down and dancing, and like there was a dude like break dancing on the floor. It was wild, man. It was so wild, but it was such a good combination of acts, because I think that we have really cool fans, both of our bands, and
blessed, man. Blessed, yo. I've been lucky enough to see you guys live, so I know what your fans bring to the table. You guys just a Stuck on Planet Earth fan just likes music, and like I find that like if I could pick a fan, and you can't, but if I could, I would try to pick somebody that just likes music. You're there for the music. You're not there to look cool, stand on the sidelines. You're not there to just be in the scene with something cool.
Yeah.
You're there to enjoy what's happening in the experience. And like, that's what a Stuck on Planet Earth fan does, right? We've been lucky to have fans that like have been around with us for a while in the city. So like we demand things from them. So like a lot of our friends were our first fans, and since people didn't really understand our music, I made it a point to tell them what to do, so they can understand. But now they've been indoctrinated. They're part of the cult. They've drank the Kool-Aid. They know what the requests are going to be. So it's easier slightly now.
Well, for everybody that's listening that may not know who you guys are, you are 1/3 of the band, the OBGMs, aka the Ooh Baby Gimme Mores. You are a black-fronted punk rock band that demands your attention, from their genre-fusing music to their lyrical creativity. The band that brings a spicy raucous to the palate of your eardrums.
It's well written. Who wrote that?
Yeah, sure is.
I honestly don't know, but I like it. I don't know, but I like it. Spicy.
We got Cole Anthony Humphrey, aka Cola, on the drums. We got Joe Brosnan, the bass man, and you, of course, you play guitar, you sing in the band, and you guys are just a fantastic band. And we wanted to get into this right away. You guys are set to release your brand new album called The Endz via Black Box on October 30th, produced by Dave Schiffman. In February of 2018, at the end of the OBGM's last tour, you guys were ready to pull the plug. You went through a pretty heavy time, and for a while you thought that you were going to be done with music.
Yep.
And you sort of had this realization that your motivations were maybe a little upside down.
Yep.
Talk to us about that.
Being in a band is the best thing that's happened to me. But in a lot of ways, it's like the worst, because I'm obsessed. I'm obsessed with music. All I do is think about music. All I do is think about art. And in that obsession, it's not always a healthy balance. What does that mean? So we've been a band since 2007. That's a lot of people don't know that. We've been a band.
Same here. Hi.
Yeah.
Hey.
Yeah, exactly. We've been around. We've been
Nice
around.
to meet
We've been around. So like since 2007, I've always wanted to be a rock star. You know, it took a long time in our city to get people to come and see us even play. And at that point, you get to a plateau. You're regularly drawing like a good number of people to see you. You're starting to get around the world to see people, and it feels great. It's a high. Coming off the flight from Europe is a high. Into Europe, that is. Coming back home is a downer for me. And I just kept on experiencing that downer because we're doing all these cool things, but I'm not feeling like we're getting all of the support we're getting to go through the chain of command, I guess. And it got to the point where I was like, yo, we're doing all these tours, taking crazy losses on some of these tours, and it looks cool, but it's doing nothing for us. Like, do we just suck? Do we just suck? Like, do we suck? Is that because we suck? And I just became obsessed with it. Like, not knowing like what for the self-titled album, like I made that album, I wrote that album in with having a wide-reaching approach. I like a lot of different types of music. I deliberately tried to be more accessible than I really am, that naturally comes out of my body. So I made compromises. The music was made in a democracy, which a lot of bands can operate in, like a shared space where everybody can like offer opinions and everybody's kind of down and everybody's working towards the same thing. But that all depends on the types of personalities you're working with. For me, like it was very, very tough to deal with 4 separate people, 4 separate sets of emotions, 4 separate sets of priorities, and me only being the OBGMs. Like I only talk about this. I only think about this. I'm not thinking about anything else. So I had to take a step back because I'm like, yo, I'm taking all this time away from my family and it's causing me stress because I'm coming back home and I'm feeling like I'm a failure. I'm getting older. I'm feeling like I'm a failure. And I was like, I have to take a step away from this to find out if I'm actually meant to do this. So I disconnected with everybody in the band, disconnected with the label, disconnected with everybody, disconnected with Dave Schiffman, and I just stayed alone. People would call me, I would return their calls. I'd only talk to Calanthony, our drummer, because we co-managed Claremont II. But like we would never talk OBGM stuff at all for almost a year. And it came to the point where I was slowly just going back to the studio by myself to see, am I good at this? Am I good at this? And I would go for like 4 or 5 times a week, 6 hours a session, or 6, 7 hours a session, and just come out of the session with bullshit. Like it was just trash. And it came to the point where I had to ask myself what the problem was, and I looked at it, it was me. I was writing songs for the wrong reasons. I was approaching things for the wrong reasons, and I needed to change that. And as soon as I let go of giving a fuck about anything, sorry, I don't know if I could swear.
Yeah,
You bet.
expectation.
Yeah.
I think getting rid of expectations.
Yeah, as soon as I let go of like caring what people think, caring what my band thinks, caring what other people looking at us think, caring about the type of music we should be making and people are telling us we should be making. As soon as I stopped caring about that, it felt like shackles were taken off of me. And I started making good things. I went into this album with the intention of this being my first solo album. I remember January of like 2019, I was done. I finished like 25, 30 songs. And I was ready to do it, but I thought about it. This can't be the end of the OBGMs. Like that's a sucker way to end that story. Like a whimper in the night. And there's so much of that story to tell. There's so much more that we have to say, especially with the content that I'm writing right now and what it's about. I'm going to just walk away on that. It doesn't make any sense. So I brought Cola and Joe back and I let them know that like in this time away, I'm now a different person. And are you down with that? And they are. And honestly, we made something really good. It wouldn't have been as good without them. With Jem was always a misfit in the band. And he's a misfit because he's the most talented musician I've ever met in my life. And I've told him this on multiple occasions. And where I was at the time, unfortunately, I feel stupid, but it's the truth. I didn't know how to use the best musician in the world. I had no idea how to use him. I had no idea how to place him. And I would spend a lot of times trying to figure out how to put him into a song as opposed to how to make a song. And that just doesn't make any sense. Like that's making these reasons. But the problem with that is that in that time away and in the extra time it took us to record the record, I just had a realization as to I was trying to control it in the wrong way. And I think in a different environment, different climate, a Jem would be able to thrive. He's too talented. You don't put him in a box. You just let him go and let him keep creating and keep creating and keep creating, because he has unlimited ideas. He has unlimited potential, and he has the best spirit of anybody I've ever fucking met in my life. Best spirit, best positive attitude. It's all joy. Where I'm all drama, baby. But it's like, I think we just both got to a point where we know it wasn't really working in the current setup. But I am so happy for him. I think if he wants to be, he would be the most in-demand one, like not just session musician, but musician on piano in the world. I'm talking like Lennon. I'm talking like if you need a feature from Alicia Keys to play piano, or Elton John, I'm talking that level. He's just so good, and he can just absorb music, and not a lot of people can do that. I can't do that. I can't do that.
He was too good for punk rock.
Well, he's too good for my simple folk. I'm just too simple, and you're too diverse. And me in the simple realm, thinking of simple things and making simple music that I can understand. I'm a toddler and he's a damn adult. And that's what it is. And that's really what it is. It's all love though. Like he got it. And I think it worked for him. And I think it will continue to work for him as long as he keeps on driving. The man is literally the most talented musician I've ever met. And I've met a lot of musicians.
I'm curious to hear a bit about sort of how this attitude shift affected your songwriting, because it clearly did, and I guess what that meant for this, new album and where it ended up. Like you said, it started as a solo album, and then, it became a continuation of the OBGM story. So how did that culminate, around your songwriting and what you're writing about right now?
I'm angry. I'm angry all the time. I wear it differently than a lot of people wear it. A lot of people wear a lot of different faces. My face is through sarcasm and laughter. But like, I'm angry all the time. And I just wanted to make music that could reflect where I am actually in life and what I actually feel about myself, my actual feelings, instead of making cookie cutter bullshit for shit. Yeah. And I wanted to make something different that really reflected where I was, where I still am. Yeah, I'm just like, I'm so angry, man. Like I went through that whole year, more than a year, just being like, yo, I've done this for so fucking long. We keep on reaching a lot of different barriers. We're like the biggest small band that can't break through the fucking paper and can't. Like, we haven't even played all over Canada. Why is that? Why do I play in Europe more than I play in my home city? Like, why does that make more sense to me financially? Why does that make more sense to me in my career? Why isn't the Canadian music scene flocking to us and seeing what we're doing by ourselves? And it's bullshit. And I'm going to run up on these people. I'm tired of playing nice with these people. These people are obviously doing this for certain reasons. It's because we aren't playing by their rules and we're not kissing anybody's fucking fingers or ring fingers, whatever fingers, we'll give them the finger. We're not doing any of that bullshit. And I'm not going to wait a turn. Like, I've already been in a band for 13 years. At least I've been making music for more than 20. So I need to show something for this now. So it's urgent now. I need this now. I'm about this now. And if you're not with that, I'm going to run through you and take your shit. And that's what the whole album is about.
Shit, man.
I got to tell you, the results and to hit on what you're saying, it's like it feels extremely unabashed. It feels very self-assured. It feels streetwise. And it's just like punk rock, like through and through, And so it feels like it came from a place of truth.
Yes.
And so I guess, and I guess maybe like I'm wondering if you can quantify what is that truth for you as an artist right now in this moment.
Truth is for a musician, truth is making the music that comes out of your body. You as a musician make music. Music is literally just math. It's shapes on a keyboard, it's shapes on a guitar, and that math translates into people's ears. And you're just trying to find which formula actually fits people the most. Now, when you're actually doing that equation, don't consider anybody else. Consider how it feels to you internally, and don't stay in a box. I am not like a lot of people thought we were going to come back and we had the song called Torpedo, really poppy type song.
Yeah.
Love Torpedo, man.
Great song.
They thought we were just going to do that over and over again. I'm like, nah, man, I meant that to be one time. I didn't want to do that again. I would have made an album like that. It's different. So for us, like a lot of people like in our camp or around our camp, we thought we were just going to do that over and over again. But like that was the only song like that on that album for a reason. And there'll never be another one at this point in time. I just want to make genuine music and be truthful to myself. If I'm truthful to myself, there's likely a person that can be on that vibe as well.
Yeah.
I really believe in energies, and I think real recognizes real. I think people know when you're making something for something as opposed to making it for yourself. And it shows. Even when we've done that, it shows. It shows. It's easy to detect which one of our songs are like that. And I just wanted to eliminate those times of doing that and just be honest with myself and not consider anybody. It's the most freeing thing any musician can ever do. Fuck the world.
Yeah.
Only care about yourself, your art, and if people aren't doing that, you have to get rid of them.
You guys are bringing an element of danger back to rock and roll right now. And not only rock and roll, but like, let's be real, like Canadian music right now.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's say it like it is. But you've described the new album as quote unquote rock music that hits differently. It's Kurt Cobain shit. It's Jimi Hendrix shit. It's the Steve Jobs of this rock shit. All right. Those are some big, bold statements. And I love it because I feel like so few people in the rock game, they say these sort of things. So like talk about where you're coming from when you're saying this sort of thing. Is it to get attention, or is it like a fucking newfound confidence where you're like, fuck everybody and what they think?
Yeah. I think music, people like music, when you're making music, you're literally taking a piece, or when you're making good music at least, you're taking a piece of your soul and you're putting it into somebody's ear. So that is something that can make a lot of people extremely self-conscious. You're burying your soul and you're putting it into somebody's ear, and that person may be like online, this person sucks, I hate this music, and yada, yada, yada. Fuck these guys, they're trash. So a lot of artists like have found solace in being self-deprecating. Oh, here's my song, I don't like the lyrics, so hopefully you like it, I don't know, and that type of happy to be here attitude. And like, I've been happy to be here, so I know a little bit about it. I am insecure as well. Like, you don't walk away from music and consider quitting if you're not insecure. but I just don't want to live there anymore. There's more than one story to tell. And I think I have always felt this way about everything we've done. Rightfully so, wrongfully so, whatever. But I've always felt like we're amazing. So why aren't they talking about us like they talk about Nirvana? I don't know why. Why aren't they talking about us like for locally? Why aren't they talking about us like they talk about Death from Above? Like, I feel like we're just as good. I feel like we're better in a lot of different ways. Not better because music is a spectrum, but it's more, I want people to know how I feel about myself. And if they feel differently, that's fine for me. But I know that like, I feel like I'm Kurt Cobain sometimes. I feel like I'm Jimi Hendrix. I feel like I'm Elton John. I feel like I'm Steph Curry. I really do feel that way. I really, really do. I really feel that way. Why? Because we're doing different shit. There's the box of music, or like Steph Curry is the best example. When he came into the game, people would walk up to the 3-point line in basketball, and that's where the defense would wait for the offense to come, and the game would start right there. What Steph Curry did was he's like, oh, everybody's walking up to defense and then shooting in their face. No, I'm going to shoot from half court. Now you have to guard me from there. So he changed the dimensions of the game. So that's what I think we're bringing to the table. That's why I talk like this. I think, all right, rock is done in a certain way. Rock and roll is done in a certain way. Punk is done in a certain way. There are certain faces that you associate with that. And none of them look like me or sound like me. So we're going to take that game and we're going to throw bongos on it. We're going to take that game and we're going to have trap beats and hip-hop elements on it. We're going to take that game and add hip-hop lyrics and energy and be in your face and loud with it. So So you are forced to pay attention. I am not necessarily influenced by any type of artist per se, but I am influenced by a lot of images. You had to pay attention to Kurt Cobain, the way he looked, the way he sounded. You had to pay attention to that. You had to pay attention to Elton John. You have to pay attention to Kanye West. Just the way they move and operate, it draws people to them. It is what it is. I want to emulate those characters because I feel like I'm them. I feel like I'm making just as good music as them. So I believe in it, and nobody's going to believe in me unless I believe in me first.
I want to ask you a bit about, there's this really great quote here that was on your guys' website, and it says, this is a black-fronted punk band, and that's really important. Rock and roll is mostly white suburban kids, and that's what gets promoted. But we're black and we're out here. I was inspired to make rock music when I saw a black guy on stage, and if someone sees that in us, I hope that will inspire a new generation to go after this. I want to ask you if you can, talk maybe a bit about your experience as a young black man in the punk scene, and about why, in the context of this moment specifically, that representation and that exposure is, perhaps more important now than ever.
Yeah, man. We started in band in 2007 in Toronto, Ontario. I can say at the time, playing shows like semi-regularly in the city and around the city, there weren't a lot of black people in the venues. There weren't a lot of people of color in general in the venues. When we came in the venues, they would often ask if we were selling drugs, if we got the weed, if we got the drugs, if we had whatever we got. They weren't thinking that we were actually like the opening acts at all. And that happened for a long time. It happened around the world. I know when I got attracted to rock and I finally got pushed over the edge, I saw a local band named The Carps.
Love The Carps, man.
Yeah, man. And like
that EP was so good.
The shit, and it hurts because I feel like they broke up right when they got it.
They broke up, like they had some buzz and then like disappeared.
And then it's
two-piece, no? Weren't they two-piece?
Yeah. So that's why we were a two-piece at first. And I just couldn't play bass, so I just played guitar. And so I saw them live and I was like, Jesus Christ, I want to be this man. This guy's a Caribbean guy. He's having a soca party here, and this is what I can do. I can do this. And I learned the guitar shortly after I started the band 6 months. And just seeing that representation on stage inspired another black person to do it, because frankly, black people aren't often pursuing rock and roll and live music like this because we're not seeing ourselves represented in these spaces. The more you see yourself in a space, the more you aspire to be something. Seeing a black president, the 25-year effects on seeing a black president to a black kid lets them know that they can be president. It lets them know that they can be president. Black Panther being such a really, really pro-black movie that was at an equally high budget, that wasn't seen to be a black movie. Now these little black kids can think they can be superheroes now. I remember, like right now I'm an OG in Toronto, so I'm meeting a lot of younger bands that got to see us play live, which I didn't think we were I didn't think we were shit. But like, you'll get your 1-2 bands that will be like, I grew up on the OBGMs. I saw the OBGMs live, and you inspired me to start a band. Wow. And just because I'm the black guy on stage. So that's amazing. Like that's amazing. And I think representation in music is important. And I do want to like stress that a lot of people confuse representation in music with like giving a pass to bad music. Some people will think that when I say, and I definitely am very strongly say, I'm a black guy in punk. You should listen to me. I should be represented in these spaces. You should definitely do it. But I don't want you to just listen to me because I am black. I want you to give me a chance because I'm fucking good at this shit. And it is what it is. If you look at any playlist, you go into any rock playlist or any punk playlist or anything, you're not going to see a bunch of people that look like me. And it is what it is. Like, put me in these spaces. I play just as good as them. Our songs are just as good as any of these motherfuckers over here, bro. Yeah. So, but by putting us in this space, you're giving us access to people that would like to see something different if they had the opportunity to. And the 25-year effects on that are going to be amazing. We're going to see a bunch of different types of back bands. You're already seeing the movement happen.
Yeah.
One of the reasons I came back was I was going to live shows alone, and I just wanted to just look for inspiration. Like, what's my community saying? Like, I feel like I'm detached from the live scene. Like, I don't even remember what this feels like. And I saw a guy's band. His name is John Crow's name is the band. His name is Daniel Wilson. And I just saw him live, and I was like, yo, this guy started up a festival called Festival Lingua Franca that was meant to display and popularize Black, Indigenous, people of color in rock spaces and alternative spaces. And I was like, this guy's doing this shit alone. This guy's doing this alone. And I've been in the game for 10 years, and me standing on the sidelines is not helping. I'm now seen as an OG in this. I need to help. I need to be here. I need to be loud. So all these guys that are 10 years younger than me can have easier times. Like, I got to be the OG. I got to be a real OG. I got to tell them all the mistakes I've made, which is lots. Which is a lot. Yeah, man, representation is important.
You guys released your first single off the Endz, Cash, on Bandcamp to help raise money for the NIA Center, which is an organization that helps provide opportunities for Afro-diasporic artists to gain new skills, own their artistic practices, and push their creative limits. Can you talk to us a bit why you want to get involved?
Yeah, the NIA Center for the Arts is actually, I live not too far away from it. Growing up, I had access to a lot of different spaces that were in my community, but all those spaces didn't necessarily promote anything outside of like hip hop at all. Like, you know, just hip hop and juice boxes, you know. And I thought like literally that's all it is. Those are my memories, and they're fond memories, but it didn't speak to me in the way that the NIA Center spoke to me, because the NIA Center is like literally a community-based organization, like built on advancing the community and putting people in a bunch of different types of spaces and a bunch of different environments that they may not have had exposure to. I would have loved to have had the benefit to be in the center or influence the center when I was younger and coming up. So I do think that, like, put your money where your mouth is. Like, we don't have a lot of it, but like whatever we can do to contribute, like, we're gonna do it. Like, I don't care what I need to sell. If it's a shirt off my back, I'm gonna sell it, because I feel like the money is better placed there. Like, so working with organizations like the NIA Center or Black Women in Motion, or The Village, which is another organization that's built on wellness for Black, Indigenous, people of color. Like, I find that these organizations need money to thrive, and the way their dollars are spent aren't self-serving. They're actually spending it on people. You can take my dollar, bro. Like, you can take my dollar, take my money, because I'm only going to spend it on Chick-fil-A. Like, I'm not going to spend it on anything good, except, like, if it's not for my family, we're blessed to be fed, you know, and we're blessed to have a roof over our head. So if I have like something extra, I want to make sure I can spread it to different areas and make sure that we can keep this going and influence younger people to do different things.
You guys have 4 songs off the record. The record comes out October 30th. And you have Cash Out, you have Not Again, you've got the Fight song, and I think I'm pronouncing the latest one, Outsa, is that?
Outside. Yeah. There's a story behind it.
So I wanted to talk a little bit about, because you guys have released 3 music videos already. Is it 3? You didn't release one for Cash, or did you?
No, the video I made with it, I never released. I have it, though. I never released it.
You should totally, because it would complement, like, the song is,
Probably,
it just moves. Not Again is kind of like a black and white performance video. Fight song. Let's talk about that music video for a second. Let's talk about the song, what it's about, and the music video. Can you give us a rundown of what the song's about and why you made the video that you made?
Yeah, the album is partially themed on getting comeuppance, like being, like, needing to be seen and heard. And if we're not seen or heard, we're going to be running through people and taking their shit. So that song, it follows the same mold. It's about fighting motherfuckers. and you know what? The pandemic, it's been really hard for everybody, but there are small blessings in it. The small blessing in it is that I've got to sit down and learn how to edit videos. I started in like mid-May, And by August, I shot our first video, which was I shot Fight Song for us and edited it. And that was just that was my directorial debut.
Yeah, I saw that. Love it.
Yeah, so it was just a cool opportunity to take all the vlog style videos that I learned how to do during the pandemic and turn them into a video. And there's no real concept in mind. I was literally just like, all right, I'm only going to make a video if I get up off my ass, bring my band, do shit. And and that's what we did. We just got outside, started shooting things, and I tried to make it in an interesting way. And that was the first video. Like, I made a video for cash, but like I fell in self-doubt. And at the time there were some imageries that wasn't clicking for what was happening at the time. So I ended up scrapping the video. We did Not Again, and we got a director for it who did a good job, but I'm much more hands-on with mine. I like to control all the images and control all the edits. So I was like, all right, if this is what we're gonna get and we're paying for it, like, I want to just do one by myself. And like, much love to the guy that did our video, Phil Story. And I like a very good video, but I'm a control freak.
That's cool. So I was gonna say Outsa, that just came in your latest one. That's kind of like there's some violent imagery happening there.
Yeah, we robbing them. Yeah, we robbing them.
It's that song is, in terms of like lyrical content, you can't hear what the fuck you're saying, but that kind of adds to the element of the song. It makes it kind of have that ruckus, bringing that spice, as you guys say.
Yeah.
So let's talk a little bit about the lyrical content of that one and that video. Why did you decide to go in that direction with that video?
Yeah, I wanted Outside to be a different type of music video that people haven't really necessarily seen before.
Which we haven't. I gotta say that was a first, man.
Hey, fuck with me. I'm taking risks as a director. I'm taking risks as an editor, and I want to bring concepts that are different, because a lot of videos in rock spaces, they're just performance videos. They're you playing your instruments to empty rooms and really giving your all, and like we've done a lot of that. But like, how do we turn this shit into movies? I'm going to turn my videos into movies. All of them are going to be movies. So I was like, I brought the concept. I'm like, I'm going to shoot this video in one consecutive shot, and we're going to need to be on time. Outside wanted to get to do something different, wanted to color it in a different way. I wanted it to look like a movie, like a really, really high contrast movie. And
it's got that vibe. It totally has that vibe. But what is
I think we got it.
What does Outsa mean? Like, am I stupid for not knowing what that means? Is that is it a made up word?
Oh no, it's an inside joke. It's basically, when we started the band, Joe used to be outside of Cola's house. We used to practice in his mom's basement. And when he got there, he used to text in a group chat, outside. I'm outside. And so I was like, okay, well, we're going to have to go ahead and title it like that. But,
okay, got you.
But the motivation behind the song was to do something aggressive and say as little as possible. I don't want to say anything. I think we're mincing too many words. I'm very long-winded sometimes, and I wanted to say nothing at a point in time. And that's the song I did it with. So I was like, how are we going to channel our inner prodigy? Smack my bitch up. Like, change my pitch up, smack my bitch up. Whoa! You know what I'm saying? So, like, ain't no other lyrics for the whole stuff.
Song's all vibe.
It's all just vibe,
man. Totally. We don't want to say anything. We don't want to say anything.
All right. So the new album, The Endz, is out via Black Box on October 30th. What's the best case scenario and the worst case scenario for you once it's out in the world? Best case, worst case.
That's an interesting question, man. Like, I've had a lot of conversations recently about the album and how the rollout's going and all that type of stuff, where I feel like this is the end of a lot of hard work. And it's probably my final lesson in music, or one of my final lessons for at least this stage of my life, this part of the game. I really believe that life is like a video game. You have to do certain things, or you're going to keep on getting that lesson over and over and over again. You're not going to be able to get past the next level.
Great analogy.
So if you're going to keep doing something, you're going to stay at that level. So I want to get to the next level. So with this album, like just knowing where I got with the last album, the last touring things, and the last everything, I have to kind of my best emotionally detach from whatever the result is. I've already done what I feel the work is. I believe in the product, and the best case scenario has already happened. We made it. We made the album. It could have not been made. There's so many. It was so easy to not make it. The worst case scenario is that I don't live to see it released. I want to be alive to see it released. It took a lot out of me to make this album, to write this album, and a lot of emotional time. I think everything is good. Obviously, I'm speak plainly. I want it to be the biggest album in the world, forever of all times. I want you to be like, never mind. The end. That's what I want, right? Of course, that's what I want. I want everybody. I want to be called by Jay-Z. Like, oh, Jay-Z's calling me again. Let me call him later. I want to do that. Beyonce's calling. All right, I'm calling her later. I want to do that when this album comes out. But if it doesn't happen, I have to come to emotional terms that music is a business, and sometimes business isn't fair. Life isn't fair, and I can't let that affect where I want to be, what I want to do. I just want to see it come out. I want to see it grow. I think it's really good. I'm gonna send it to you. Let me know what you think.
Yeah.
And
I'm stoked to listen.
Yeah, and that's all I can do, man. Hopefully it gets like a million streams on day one, but if it doesn't, it is what it is.
I hope so, man. I hope so.
First album ever purchased?
Tupac, Until the End of Time.
Okay.
And Nevermind, Nirvana. I bought them on the same day. Now, the first album I ever got purchased for me was a cassette tape. It was Puff Daddy and the Family.
Amazing.
And Master P, No Limit Soldiers.
All right.
Those are heavy. I love it.
Yeah.
First live show you ever went to?
The first live show that I can remember going to was the Carps. It was the Carps at a venue like Sneaky D's or something like that.
The Reverb.
It was something like that. It was something like that. That was the first show I remember going to, because I was a loner, man. I was a loner. Nobody wanted to do things with me. So somebody took me to a show, and I went. I love it. It changed my life, man. I cursed them ever since.
Everybody's got one of those change your life at a show moments. Yeah. Earliest childhood memory.
The one that comes to my mind right now is I had a crush on this girl who was actually the first lead singer of the OBGMs.
No way!
Funny story. I had a crush on this girl when I was 6, and I was in the winter, and I got my mittens to my they're stuck to my, because I don't want to lose them, right? But I got extra long strings, so I can whip them around like this.
Amazing.
And my first memory was walking around like this with my gloves, and I hit her in the eye really, really bad by accident. Shit. Oh my God, I felt like dying, because the girl I loved as a 6-year-old, I just hurt her by accident. Oh God, I could have died.
It's amazing the things that we die of embarrassment of as children.
And that's my first memory.
And so how did this end up becoming down the line? You said she was the first OBGM singer.
Yeah, the OBGMs, we started as a production duo. We were just doing a lot of mixtapes for Toronto artists, and until I wanted to start a band. And when I wanted to start a band, I didn't want to start a band as me as a singer. I can't really sing. I just stay in my pockets. But she could sing. Her name was Tiffany, and I've all of my life that I've known her, like, she was always a singer. She was a beautiful voice, beautiful singer, beautiful person. So when I started the band, I took it as an opportunity. Yo, we're starting a band. You can sing. I can play guitar, kind of. Let's just start a band. Let's just do it. And she said yes. And it was great, man. But it only lasted 2 months, man.
Well, my man, we're at the end of the episode. I gotta thank you so much for coming on to do this. Make sure you say hi to Cola and Joe for me.
No, fuck those guys.
And lastly, before we go, any last words before we go?
I would say,
let people know.
Yeah, man. I'll say listen to the Endz. If you don't fuck with the OBGMs and you don't fuck that I think I'm Kurt Cobain, that's fine. Listen to Troy Irons. listen to Oxymorons, that's 2RONS, listen to Danny Denial, and maybe you'll like them. Listen to King Youngblood, listen to Black Rock, listen to a bunch of other bands, you know, if you don't fuck with us. But you can listen to all of us together as well. And listen to Sucker on Planet Earth as well. The album is a banger. The album is a banger. It plays like a greatest hits. It's crazy.
Thank you, man. Well,
Every track's okay.
Much love. I'm so stoked. Yeah, you got to send me the record.
Yeah.
All right, you got my email, or I'll text you after. But this is the end of Music in Paranoid Times. Denz, the OBGMs, man, we were so stoked for you. Thank you so much for being here, and that's it for this episode, man. We'll talk soon.
Much love, man. Thank you so much.
Thanks a lot, Denz.
All right, guys.
Bye.